Hey everybody, welcome to July's block of the month for the Riverton store. I don't know if I've ever introduced myself, but I'm Leslie, and hope that we can, this might be the last time we do this kind of thing. Hopefully, I'm hoping in August that we can be in store. So when you come and pick up your block this month, it'll be the 7th, the August 7th and 8th. I'm going to actually have you sign. I want to do 2 sessions in Friday, one at 5 o'clock, one at 6 o'clock, and then 2 sessions Saturday morning, one at 9 o'clock, one at 10 o'clock. So when you come and pick up your block, we're going to have sign-up sheets for you to sign up to come and do an in-store class. And we're going to limit these classes to 25. So that's why we need to have you sign up so that we know who's coming to what session. And you will be required to wear a mask, and we'll sanitize your hands before you come in. So we're trying to take all the precautions we can, but I would like to be able to be in the store. Now, if you're not comfortable with coming in store, you will still be able to pick up your block. But we're really encouraging all of you to come and be with us so that we can see what you're doing. We love show and tell, bring show and tell. I have some actually pretty fun things that I'm going to show at our class meeting. So we really want in August to try to start being back in store. So we'll have to see how that goes and see how the numbers go. So that's the direction I want to go. The other thing I want to let you guys know is this quilt right here. It's called Botanical Park. I did show it several months ago in our block of the month. We are actually starting this in September. The first class will be the 5th of September. It will be right after we do our block of the month. And we are taking sign-ups for this right now. It's a $20 sign-up fee, and then your class kit each month will be $30. So it starts in September, we'll go for 12 months. And so if you want to sign up for that when you're here, picking up your block of the month, we are ready to do that. There's limited seating in this one. And so if you're interested, sign up now so that you can get a spot in this class, because they will go very fast, very fast. So I wanted to let you know this before we started into our block of the month. So that's over with. So this is our block that we're doing this month. I'm going to show you the Americana. This is the Americana version of this block. So your kit will include this fabric and this fabric, as you see right here. You got the light fabric and then your star fabric. And then this is what I used as my second fabric. This is actually new fabric that came in recently, and I thought that went really well. So there's your Americana block of the month. Now, here are your fabrics for the batik, and I'm going to show you how to do this block using the batik fabrics. So let me go through your fabric. Of course, I've used this as the bee fabric. So the fabric that you will be doing will be, you putting in will be this bee fabric, which is a 5 by 22 cut. And all you're cutting from this is 4 4¼ inch squares. That's your bee fabric right here. And I have this as HST, which is half square triangles. So your alternate, your fabric and this yellow fabric will be used to do your half square triangles. Now you'll do the yellow fabric and your C fabric to do what is going to be called a cat's cradle. So that's your cat's cradle. This is your half square triangles. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you really fast, because I know we had some new people sign up this last month that were really new. So I'm going to show really fast how to do the half square triangles. They're really easy to do, but well, I'm going to do that. First I'm going to show you how to cut these fabrics. So out of your A fabric, you're gonna cut four 4¼ half square triangle, 4 squares, and then 1 3¼ by 20" strip. So that's this fabric. Yeah, that's this fabric. So what I did, since you're getting a piece that is the width of the fabric, I took it and I cut it in half. And out of half of it, I'm going to cut my 4 4¼ squares. So the first thing you're going to do is you're going to create a nice straight line, and then you're going to come into 4¼ here. And this is not long enough for do the whole length, so I just move it down and make sure I'm still at 4¼ So here I have 4¼ and then now all I'm doing is I'm going to cut 4 4¼ squares. So I'm going to make sure that this is 4¼ I'm sure this is, and I can turn this around so you can see the 4¼ both ways. Sometimes this, yeah, there you go. So you see 4¼ down here, then 4¼ here. So you want to just cut 4 of those. Go down the line. So I'm just going to only cut 1 because I have my 4¼ from my red fabric, and you're going to lay 1 on top. Now this will make 2 half square triangles. So you'll see on this that I've marked 3 lines, and I'm going to tell you what those 3 lines are for. This is your cutting line right here, this center one. These 2 lines are your sewing lines. Now for most people, if you have a 1/4" square, 1/4" foot, you only need to draw this line, and your 1/4" foot will do these 2. But if you don't have a 1/4" foot, then you need to draw all 3 lines. But so I will take this to the machine and I will show you how we sew this. So as you see, this machine actually has a laser on it, and this laser will help you to see where that center line is. And we're going to be sewing on this line right here. And I need to thread my needle before I can sew. And that didn't thread. Let me try again. There we go. So now I have my 1/4" right on there, and so you see now I have this line sewn. Now I'm going to turn it around and do this on my other line. So this line right here is going to be my sewing line. This is still my cutting line. So this is where I have my laser highlighted right there. Slow this machine down just a little bit so you can get an idea of what's going on here. So now you see here I have 2 sewn lines, and this is going to be my cutting line right there. So we're going to take it back to my cutting mat. Put my ruler down on my cutting line right there and cut those apart. So now, so you see, now you'll open this up and you'll have a half square triangle that looks like that. Now you'll see that this is a little bit bigger than this. So now when you have this done and pressed, then you need to trim this. So I will do both of these. You always want to trim, always want to press toward the darker fabric. So that's always kind of like a general rule of thumb. So now we need to trim these blocks down. So this is where this ruler called the Tucker trimmer comes into play. You'll see there's lines on here where you can trim half square triangles. You see this right here, this line right here with the diagonal line helps you to put this on your block to trim it to your right size. Now we're going to trim this to 3.5 inches. So we're going to come to this side here and put this ruler on here, the 3.5, the dotted diagonal line goes right on your seam line. So you'll see here now you can trim off the excess. I think I need to put a new blade into this. It doesn't seem to be cutting very well. So you then turn it around and you want to do that same thing. Whereas this is already trimmed, now you put your 3.5 diagonal line, the triangle, right on this triangle, and you'll see you have the excess here that now can be trimmed off. So there you go. There's your half square triangle. You'll do that 8 times because you'll end up with 8. That's why you have 4 of these. So each one of these 4 4.25 inch squares will yield, you'll pair these together from A and B, and they will yield your 8 half square triangles. So you make those first, and now you set those aside. And we're gonna go to now what is called a cat's cradle, that block right there. And you'll be using this ruler here to help cut that and make that square. And I'll show you the different steps that this ruler will help you to make this square right there. So we'll get to that. So you have your other half of your A fabric, and then you have your C fabric. Now you'll see I have already trimmed this one. Now this is 6.5 inches wide when you get it. So the first thing you want to do, and it's only the 22 inches. So the first thing you want to do when you get this is to cut this strip off, and this is 2.25 inches. So this strip here is 2.25. Now it says to cut this at 20 inches, but you don't need to, really, seriously. You can just cut that 2.5 inch strip and just leave it like that, and just sew, and because you'll sew this to the strip that you're cutting off this piece. So what you're going to do with the rest of this is you're now going to cut your 4.5 by 5.5, 4 by 5 rectangles, and that's these right here. So I'm not going to go ahead and take the time to cut it. So you can see you can trim this down to 4 inches and then do your 5 inch cut. So you'll end up with 4 like that. Okay. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to now come and cut this at 3.25. So I'm going to put this on my fabric and cut this at 3.25 inches. So that's move it down, make sure it's still all at 3.25. So now you have a 3.25 inch strip and a 2.25 inch strip. So now you're going to take these to the sewing machine and you're going to sew this strip down. So let's flip that over. So this is where your 1/4 inch foot also comes in real handy, because it will help you to do that 1/4 inch seam very easily. You want to make sure those fabrics are right on top of one another. speed that up just a little bit. Okay, so now you have your strip sewn together, and your instructions tell you to opposite colors, touching, matching the outer edges. So you want to press this toward the dark fabric. So just take it over here and just give it a nice little press. Put it up. Just like that. So now what you're going to do is you're going to, I'm reading this upside down, so it takes me a while. You're going to subcut into 2 1/4 inch strips. So basically what you're going to do is take your ruler and do a nice straight edge. And then go along and cut this into 2 1/4. See that 2 1/4 right there? Right there. And make sure you have one of your lines right on your seam line so that you know you're getting a nice perpendicular cut, that it's not going to one side or the other. So you're going to do that, and you're going to cut 6 of those. 8. I'm sorry, you're going to cut 8 of those. So I'm going to cut maybe 4, and then we'll move on. Okay, so after you have all 8 of those cut, then you're going to sew them back together this way. You're going to, that's where it says, sew right sides together, opposite colors touching. So that's what it means right there. So you're going to sew those together, opposite sides, and you're going to get something that looks like this. Okay. Now you're going to use your cat's cradle. And you're going to see here, there is a make sewing line right there, mark sewing line right there. So you're going to take on the back, you're going to put that on your square, so you're putting your line right on your stitching right there. So that means that this line will come right next to that line right there. So you're going to mark this line so that you mark it. And it doesn't matter where those lines end up on either side. The important thing is that you mark that so that this line right here is intersecting this stitching line right there. So that's what you want, is that line right there. That's how you're going to get that point. That line must intersect these stitching lines right there. So you'll see here when you press that open, you're going to snip that seam so that one of those seams go one way and one of those seams go the other way, so that you can keep each one of these the same. So you're going to switch that over, and you're going to do that same thing on the other side. Put those lines right on the stitching, and mark that. This is going to be your sewing line. Okay. So now you're going to take your 4 by 5 inch rectangle that you've cut out of fabric C, and you're just going to put that right on top, just like that. And then you're going to take it to the sewing machine, and then you're going to sew right on those lines right there. And if I'm just going to really fast take that so I'm not confused, which happens pretty often. I'm going to put that laser right on my stitching line. I didn't want that to happen. Put that down. I'm going to turn it around and actually go this direction. So now you see I have the 2 stitching lines, and now what we're going to do is you're going to take your ruler and you're going to cut that. You're going to put your 1/4 inch line right on your stitching, and you're going to trim that seam to 1/4 inch, just like that. Do it on the other side too. So now you have this block open, and we're going to press this. And you'll see also that this is not as, so this we'll need to trim this one down now too. So I'm going to press this one too. Remember to always let your iron do a lot of that work, pressing. So now you're going to take your cat's cradle again, and your instructions tell you to put, you're going to work on this side of the ruler. You're going to put this 3 inch line right here on the block with the diagonal line right there. So that diagonal line will go along the seam right there, and then your 3 inch will go to either side of this block right here. And that gives you the area to trim. And so on your other side, you're going to take your 3 inch point right there and meet that right at the point, right like that. And then trim, do the rest of your trim. And there you have your block. See? So now you're going to put that together. So you're going to take your ruler, I may trim this one up too. Take your block, and you can put this together according to the diagram. So one right here. You've got another one that you can put like right here. And I'm going to quick trim this block up. I haven't made these 2 blocks, but you've gotten the general idea on these. So let me quick, because I'm going to show you that this is not the only way you can put this block together. there's another way if you want. You can have fun with it and kind of a different way that you can put it together. And I think I have enough blocks there that I could show you that. So I think that's like that. And then this would go like right here, like, no, they all go like that. But if you just kind of turn this around like this, I have and then you turn this like this. See, you get a whole different block. Or you can turn like this. So you can actually have fun with this and say, okay, you know, how do I want to put this block together? And you can have what is a completely different kind of block. So have fun with this. This is really easy. Half square triangles, this block called a cat's cradle, very easy to do. You'll have fun with it, and you also know that if you have questions, you can always call me, and let's see if we can't get back together in August. So thanks for now, and happy sewing. Bye.